Our next guest is rebranding and reintroducing itself from Harry's to now Mammoth Brands. The company's been around for more than 12 years and is joining us to talk about these next steps. Andy Katz-Mayfield, he's the co-founder and co-CEO at Mammoth Brands, joins me now. Andy, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Kristen.
Congratulations. Always a big milestone, a particular rebrand. What went into this particular decision?
Yeah, well, Mammoth Brands is a portfolio of consumer brands. So it includes the Harry's brand, which I helped launch and start a while back, men's grooming brand, Flamingo, which is a woman's hair removal brand, Lume, which is a incredibly effective natural deodorant brand that you can use all over your body, and Mando, which is a similar men's whole body deodorant brand. And Mammoth Brands is a modern CPG company. So our aspiration is to kind of be a platform for the next generation of consumer brands. And, if a company like Procter and Gamble or Unilever were getting built today, what would their go-to-market capabilities look like? What would, sort of the platform look like? And, humbly, we think it would look a lot like what we're doing at Mammoth Brands.
Yeah. What are some of the campaign plans that are part of this new rebrand?
The branding itself is intended to sort of better capture the idea that we're a portfolio. So a lot of people know of these brands individually. The company was called Harry's, but that was somewhat confusing vis-a-vis the Harry's brand. The Mammoth itself actually is something that has a lot of historical significance to the company. So it was an icon, a logo that we used for the Harry's brand in the very early days. Actually, the very first website we launched, you came to a landing page and it said shaving is evolving, and it had a picture of a mammoth, and then it was kind of turned into an elephant, like haha. But the mammoth became this sort of beloved icon from consumers and for the company, and so it nods to our history. But the idea of a mammoth being this sort of big, extraordinary, kind of unexpected entity, hopefully better represents the company we're trying to build and the brands, within our portfolio and what they represent as well.
How is the company, now Mammoth Brands, planning to expand in the coming months and throughout 2025?
The brands in our portfolio are all sort of leading growth in their respective categories. So, shaving for Harry's and Flamingo, and deodorant, specifically this idea of whole body deodorant for Lume and Mando. And so plenty of growth to go there to continue to drive innovation and lead those categories. But our aspiration is also to continue to build a portfolio of brands. So hopefully we can, find the next Harry's or the next Lume out there when they're a little bit earlier stage of their journey growing online, and then leverage our platform and capabilities to help those brands both diversify their online business and their marketing approach, but then also make that transition into drug and mass retail and manage an omni-channel brand and business, which is a whole different level of complexity as you scale, and something that we've gotten reasonably good at over the past 12 years or so.
Well, of course, the company has seen extraordinary revenue growth, $835 million in sales last year, about a 20% compounded annual growth rate over the past 5 years. What has led to the company being able to accomplish those milestones?
The way we think about it is, the company mission statement is create things people like more, which is very simple in principle, but is a little harder to do in practice when you've got all sorts of different considerations and financial goals and, retailer objectives. But I think what we've done a reasonably good job at is keeping that as our North Star and saying, okay, is the customer or the human being that's using these products at the end of the day actually going to like this product or this positioning or value proposition more? And if so, let's do it. And if not, let's not do it. And that consumer centricity is enabled a little bit by our go-to-market approach. So the Harry's brand was started online, direct to consumer. All of our brands started that way. And so having that direct customer connection and being able to get real-time feedback so that we can test and learn and iterate and figure out what's working, what's not, and develop that direct relationship, it just creates this DNA in our company and our brands that is really consumer centric. And I think if you follow the customer, you can drive outsized growth if you deliver them what they want at the end of the day.
I know you're up against some massive competitors in the CPG space, Procter and Gamble, Unilever, but certainly you have been competing. Flamingo, the sister company to Harry's, is the fourth biggest brand in women's razors. and blades, according to Euromonitor. And Lume has been a pioneer in the whole body deodorant space. What is the playbook for success?
As I mentioned, kind of following the customer at the end of the day. And you mentioned Flamingo. That's a great example where in the really early days of Harry's, there were a lot of women that were asking us, hey, when are you going to do something for women? And it would have been pretty easy for us to kind of launch a brand and call it Sally's or Harriet's or Harry's for her or whatever, and just kind of, think it and shrink it, so to speak. And, but that would not be actually have been following the customer. What we learned about women is that, in that particular category, they think about hair removal differently from guys. It's lots of different body parts. It's actually lots of different tools, not just razors. And so we very intentionally created a brand that has its own identity, that launched a suite of products, not just in razors, but in different modalities of hair removal, to kind of better meet that consumer's needs. And so it's that type of an approach, I think, that's allowed us to compete on a slightly different plane from some of our larger competitors.
Andy, what does growth and expansion look like for this portfolio of brands ahead?
Yeah, well, we want to continue to deliver outsized growth, and think we have an opportunity to do that with our existing brands through innovation, through just continuing to expand distribution in some cases, and hopefully continuing to follow that North Star of great things people like more, and hopefully selectively add brands to the portfolio through partnering with founder-led brands where they've gotten to that point of product market fit online and have seen some success, but could benefit from the support of our infrastructure and our platform and our experience to expand omni-channel, to diversify their marketing mix. And so it's not a roll up where we want to go buy 20 brands necessarily, but if we could find the next Harry's or the next Lume and add one brand a year type of a cadence, we think that would be exciting and additive to the existing portfolio.
Andy Katz-Mayfield, co-founder and co-CEO at Mammoth Brands. Andy, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I appreciate it.